Democrats, they're in disarray. They're in an internal fight trying to find out who is their leader. Presidential race really not that far away. And two Democrats I'm watching, J.B. Pritzker and Rahm Emanuel. This is The Brief. I'm Ann Ahern. Rahm Emanuel, and really so many of us know him just as Rahm, has had a long history of being involved in politics. J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois for 2 terms, trying to decide if he's going to run for a 3rd. They do have some similarities. If either of them would win, they would be the first Jewish president. They have big aspirations, but far different views, far different beliefs in where the party's headed. Let's start with Rahm Emanuel. Most recently, the ambassador to Japan. Before that, the mayor of Chicago, 2 terms. Had been a congressman for 3 terms, White House chief of staff to Barack Obama, and a senior advisor to Bill Clinton. Does he have experience? You betcha. But he also has a personality that many say, wait, Rahm is a lightning rod. Some love it, others do not. So what's his official answer when asked, Rahm, what's next for you?
I'm not done with public service, and I'm hoping his public service is not done with me.
I'm not the only one who talks to Rahm a lot, because let me tell you, he is a guy that works the phones. But I've recently asked him by text, where does he stand on all this? Here's what he said. Essentially what he's saying is he's not about to make a decision before the midterms. That's only a year and a half away, November 2026. Since Rahm's been back, he seems to be everywhere, and really kind of caused a head turn when he appeared on Bill Maher's show. And one of his comments was, hey, why are we caring more about the locker room than the classroom? That view of the classroom and education has been a cornerstone for Emanuel throughout his mayoral term and also as a congressman. And Democrats' own internal polls show the Democrats are too worried about being politically correct and are elitist. At the same time, the fight for the party of where it is headed, it's real. Senator Bernie Sanders, known as the leader of the progressive movement, he's still getting very big crowds in the Midwest and other red states, as he has taken that mantle of caring about the working man, the working family. But let's talk about this, the Draft Rahm 2028 movement. It's new, and it has a website and people who are sending their interests to it. We talked to one of the organizers.
Rahm, what we've seen, is someone who's not afraid to speak truth to power. He's not afraid to let you know how he feels, and he's not someone who's going to pander. He's someone who's going to tell you what you need to hear, even if you don't like it.
Some do wonder, is this website a way of forcing Rahm Emanuel to make a decision? Is he interested in really being the president, or does he want to run for governor if J.B. Pritzker doesn't run for a 3rd term? Or what if Dick Durbin retires? There'll be an opening in the U.S. Senate in Illinois. Emanuel continues to say, I'm looking at all of it. Of course, there are those who do not like the way that Rahm ran the city. He closed 50 schools, there were fights with the teachers union, and they bring up what happened with Laquan McDonald, the young black teenager who was shot 50 times. And what happened to the videotape? No one saw it until after Emanuel started his 2nd term.
I believe this one will stand the test of time. And the real test then is, did we use this as a teachable moment to make fundamental changes? And the answer to that is yes. But I'm the mayor, I bear responsibility.
Here's what I know from my conversations with Rahm. He's restless. He's not about to retire. He's looking at all options. Yes, he's a commentator on CNN, but he wants much more than that. He wants to be part of the debate, and he wants to be part of the conversation of where the Democratic Party is headed, and he certainly thinks that the progressive wing of the party has gone too far and there needs to be a course correction. When asked, wait, what about your resume versus J.B. Pritzker's resume, Rahm Emanuel is quick to point out, Pritzker has not done what he's done as far as an international and even national stage. Emanuel has had to deal with China, being the ambassador to Japan. Emanuel has had to iron out an agreement not only on health care when he was the chief of staff to Barack Obama, but also an agreement with the Chicago Teachers Union. No easy feat. So he claims his resume stacks up to anybody's resume, including J.B. Pritzker's. Might Emanuel even run for mayor in 2027? It's possible. Don't rule anything out. What he is saying is, wait till after the midterms, he'll make his decision, and quote, he says, take a chill pill. Not sure he's really taking his own advice. Who's also not taking a chill pill? Governor J.B. Pritzker. Even his team is asking, is the Rahm Emanuel for president real? They're gearing up. Of course, it's not official. In fact, he has to make that big decision. Is he going to run for a third term for governor? That's a real tough decision because, yes, he's won easily. Of course, he's been a self-funder, put a lot of more than 100 million out there. A third term is really difficult, and he's got some big challenges. The economy is not in good shape. There's no more federal COVID money. What is he going to do about that? Might there be a big tax increase that he would have to face? No one wants to have that on their commercials. So first he's got to make that decision. But does he do it as a sitting governor, or does he run just as J.B. Pritzker, billionaire, with a lot of time on his hands, able to crisscross the country and not worry about what's needed back home? He was a finalist for vice president for Kamala Harris, and he's out there laying the seeds now for that 2028 run. He's been speaking all over the country. In fact, this week, he spoke to the Centers for American Progress, and his big emphasis, working families.
Democrats are the party whose policies are all about working families. If we want to regain the trust of the voters that we stand for, Democrats have to deliver. For sure, we have to call out the BS that Republicans have been selling.
This is not a new idea. In the last couple of years, Pritzker's been to New Hampshire, Florida, Iowa, all states that vote early and get a lot of media attention when a potential candidate shows up. In fact, Pritzker is the keynoter at a big fundraiser in April in New Hampshire. So, you don't think he wants to run in 2028? Of course he does. He's also been on talk shows like The View. What really caught the attention of the national press is when, in his State of the State speech, he compared what's going on in the United States today to Nazi Germany.
If you think I'm overreacting and sounding the alarm too soon, consider this. It took the Nazis 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 days, 8 hours, and 40 minutes to dismantle a constitutional republic. And all I'm saying is that when the 5-alarm fire starts to burn, every good person better be ready to man a post with a bucket of water if you want to stop it from raging out of control.
He's been using the phrase President Musk, and his language has gotten even more critical. He tried this new one out when he spoke to the teachers union in suburban Chicago and used it again when he spoke in Washington, D.C.
Now, the Doge bags in Washington, I'm sorry, I may have misspelled that. They hate that we're succeeding in Illinois. They just hate it.
All right, Pritzker's fortune, more than $3.6 billion. He is the richest elected official nationwide, and he has been quite generous with other Democrats. He has what's called the think big philosophy. And so he's given a lot of money to abortion causes and other races around the country where he felt abortion was an issue. Then we just had the Democratic convention here in Chicago. Pritzker had a big spotlight.
Americans don't want to be forced to drive 100 miles to deliver a baby because a draconian abortion law shut down the maternity ward.
The convention itself went off without a hitch. People were concerned. Might there be protests? Might it be difficult? Might the city not look as well as he wanted it to be? But Pritzker was able to bask in the glow afterwards of saying that convention went off well. Of course, Rahm Emanuel and J.B. Pritzker aren't the only Democrats eyeing the presidential race. There's Gavin Newsom. There's Pete Buttigieg. There's the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, and the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. And don't forget, what about Kamala Harris? Might she be interested again? There's lots of different lists out there, and one of the biggest prerequisites is communication. How do they communicate their message? And what is your message? Rahm Emanuel, J.B. Pritzker are not necessarily on the same page. They're a microcosm of the fight going on right now within the Democratic Party. Will they be part of the 2028 conversation? You can count on it. So what qualities matter most to you? What are you looking for in the next presidential race? Leave us your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for checking in. That's The Brief.